with Hans. Really impressive performance of the Tempest Sonata. I thought that's so many inherent problems with control of a piece like that it sets a stage for you to do more with the piece that's more of your own personality. You know, this Beethoven is known as a composer, and he's not the only one, to present ideas in groups of three, right? So that, you know, repeating an idea in successive measures is a suggestion that one should build. You know, if I hear it once, I hear it a second time, it should be a little bit different. If I hear it a third time, we should get the message by then. Something more should be happening, right? It's implied. Seldom would Beethoven actually put that into the music. So you have to read into it. I don't know of a sonata that does it more than the first movement of the tempo. So many examples. And you just that itself is three statements. And then he does it again, modulated up one step. And then again, the same, so it's kind of three, and then three times of that. And countless other examples through this movement that are opportunities for you to show new colors with each build of that idea. So just make it your own. Okay? Just look through the score. There's just so many examples. It's great. Very thoughtful playing in Rachmaninoff. We really love the subtleties, the softer colors. One suggestion is when it gets very bold in the middle, you get this, you know, wonderful, big, lush Rachmaninoff texture that draws us to the piece to begin with. It's very easy to get lost in that texture and difficult to project the melody. Sometimes I find it helpful to actually change my piano technique a little bit and use more of a vertical finger to get, or even thumbs when I can, to project those melody notes to stand out. It doesn't, you know, risk damage to your body by trying to press too hard. Just let the thumbs do the weight, or a vertical finger, and then play the other chords more traditionally. But bravo.
I'm going to piggyback on that last point. You know, that central section of the Rachmaninoff, I don't really want to speak too much about, you know, the physicality of one's piano playing. I have seen people play with a lot of shoulder tension, but they play wonderfully, so who cares, right? But in the Rachmaninoff, in the central section, I think maybe also because of the angle we are sitting, I do feel like you have quite a bit of tension you're holding up here. And perhaps, just imagine, can you imagine you're like a big tree, or I don't know, I play video games. Sometimes you see a boss fight and monster is so big that you're just like, there's no way I can beat this guy. But you have to just all of a sudden project this humongous image in front of us, you know, which we don't really predict at the beginning of the piece, right? We have no inkling that's going to happen. In that central section, I'm sure is one of the main reasons you want to play the piece, right? It's just amazing, right? So I feel like there's still room for growth in that section, but otherwise you have a very imaginative mind, and you carry your ideas through, you're very consistent. The Beethoven, you brought out a lot of high dramatic contrast and tension, perhaps sometimes almost too much so. Yeah, I feel like anytime you're in the Largo thing, like time stops. And then when Allegro comes back, all of a sudden we're driving 100 miles an hour a little bit. And think about, right, this all has to make a through line. There has to be a through line underneath, underpinning all this. Yeah. And I think if you look at the sonata before this one, Opus 31 number 1, and then we heard a couple of Opus 31 number 3, right? Tempest is pretty special. It occupies a very unique central position in this trio of his, you know, important sonatas. And there's a poetic aspect which I encourage you to keep exploring that. Okay.
Yeah, really, really fine performance. You approach this music with a great deal of seriousness, of study, and of expressive purpose. And I mean, both of these pieces suit you quite well in that regard. And they came off really well today. A couple really small things. Starting with your Beethoven, I think that's a really good way of putting it, that you get the drama in this piece, and sometimes it's a little bit too much. For me, a couple of things in the faster sections, passage work in your eighth notes, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. If you can make all of those notes sing, and then especially your left hand, there's some passages that are a little less secure than your right hand. I think if you think about giving more meaning to those notes rather than just hoping they come out cleanly, they will come out cleanly, and they'll really speak and be stable. Some of your fast triplet tremolo stuff, we want to be careful. Bum, bum, bum. So we want to preserve the plaintive quality of that reply and not accidentally crescendo the tremolo. We don't want to create a sort of swell there in the other hand, right? Just in the melody. These are really small things, but they can help you polish this a little bit more. At the end of your Beethoven, make sure this goes for everyone. When you have a final note or chord of a piece, your fingers need to come off a split second before the pedal, so we don't get stragglers, so we don't lose that resonance and then lose the notes, or so that certain notes aren't held longer than others. Just be careful with that. Rachmaninoff was a really strong performance as well. Piggybacking on what both my colleagues have said about managing texture, I think of this a different sort of the complementary angle to the physical approach. The notes that you want to project more from your arm and torso, from bigger units in the arm and body, and they'll give you a little bit more full core to your sound. Like if you can imagine a French horn or a euphonium or something, there's like a minimum dynamic that you're going to get those instruments to play and to really speak, as opposed to a viola playing really softly. Right? So we want that kind of core to the sound.
Okay.
However you